Sonia Bryson with the national anthem to get things started here at Amalie Arena. Big crowd. The night before Halloween, let's have a look at our GMC big matchup in goal, Chief.
Well, we're not being disappointed again tonight, Rick. We got two hot goaltenders. You see the starts for both of them. Emery has yet to lose in regulation. Pretty impressive save percentage at .924. John Cooper behind the bench in his third season with the Lightning, 2 full seasons. And then on the other side, Craig Berube, who's been a long-time Flyer, not only as a player, but as assistant coach, a coach in the minors, and now in his second full season as the bench boss of the big team.
Dan O'Halloran working this game with Tim Peel. They're the referees, Steve Barton and Shane Heyer are the linesmen. As the Lightning will open up with Steven Stamkos between Valtteri Filppula, Alex Killorn on the right side. And it'll be Claude Giroux facing off against Stamkos. The two captains go head-to-head. The Flyers get control. Nicholas Grossman on their defense. Puck tipped in by Giroux. Matt Carl, the former Flyer, back there. And we get an icing call. Joining us between the benches tonight is Chris Dingman. And Chris, good evening to you.
Good evening to you guys. And obviously a very good game a couple nights ago against the Coyotes. Lightning looking to do that. Have that good start again. Get the Flyers off their game a little bit. Make them force some things.
Lightning winning all 3 matchups last season. 9-1-1. In their last 11 against Philadelphia, including 5-0-1 here at Amalie Arena. Stamkos throws the puck back to the defense. Anton Stralman begins this game with Carl. Stralman still among the leaders in the NHL with a +9. Long pass up the boards, connecting to Filppula. He's onside. He shoots a save by Emery. Grossman backhands it out. Carl got the puck away from Jake Voracek. Voracek still battling with Carl at that line. Alex Killorn coming back against the Coyotes after missing 4 games with an upper body injury. The last 3 games in which he's played, he's picked up points. Matt Reed working it now to Sean Couturier. Center, Stamkos right there. He's still out there as Ben Bishop will get a whistle. The Lightning can get a change.
Well, they tried to make that puck and move that puck quickly, and they did. And this time here, you see the defense for Philly missed it. Filppula coming in, and again, point out that left-handed shot coming down that right side. It opens up that far corner a lot better. And Emery had to be very
Couturier wins the face-off. Matt Reed had it taken away by Radko Gudas. Pass out of the wing for Andre Palat. Here's a hot line from the other night against the Arizona Coyotes as Johnson's pass is taken away as it hit Michael Del Zotto on defense. Reed cutting through. Back to Couturier. Spins it in front, and Kucherov right there to take it for the Lightning. Kucherov hits the line. Fires it across, looking for Palat. Coming back was R.J. Umberger to break up the play. Palat battling in that corner. Kucherov with him. Palat leans in on Nick Schultz. One of the Flyer defensemen, Andre Schuster, across for Eric Brewer. With the shot, saved by Emery. Didn't really have control of that puck on the rebound, but the Flyers have it.
One thing right now in this early going in the first 2 minutes anyway, most of the faceoffs were won by the Flyers. That's where they've gotten their puck control.
Wayne Simmons cutting across the middle. Braden Shen held up at the line by Andre Schuster. Puck dumped in. Brandon Manning just called up from their minor league affiliate in the American League. Playing his 11th game in the National Hockey League. Made his NHL debut a couple of years ago against Tampa Bay. But they've had a lot of injuries on the defense, Chief.
Boy, they have, and all their front liners, too.
J.T. Brown tips the puck in deep. Luke Shen under check here by Brendan Morrow. As Brown gets a stick in the face, it looks like he drops his stick and is skating off to the Lightning bench.
Yeah, he's cut open, guys, on the bridge of the nose.
It might have been the puck as well that came up. I'm not sure.
Vlad Nemestikov around the net, chased by Manning. Sets it up. Carl shoots, and he blasts it wide. Matt Carl scoring the 7th and final goal in an onslaught on Tuesday against Arizona. Lightning holding it in with the puck. Nemestikov back to Stralman. They look for Jonathan Drouin. He picks it up. Pass was tipped. He still reacted in tight and controls it down low for Nemestikov. Here's the shot by Drouin. Saved there by Emery. Cedric Paquette works on the right side. Stralman strike. They score! Nemestikov in front. Tips it home.
Excellent puck movement, but what a great keep-in on the part of the Lightning defenseman back there. It looked like it just got to the line, and he just put that shot on there and go to the front of the net. They've talked about it. They've coached it. They've put drills in to make sure guys would get to the front of the net. And this time it worked out pretty well. The Nemestikov picks up the goal, his third of the year, to give the Lightning the lead here at 3:29.
Well, good job shooting for deflection, as you mentioned. Good job getting a stick on it, but a great play by Jonathan Drouin earlier in that shift to keep it alive.
Ian Stralman should get the assists on this goal at 3:29. Let's have a look at our Southern Ford keys to tonight's game, Chief.
Well, play fast. Always, right from the day one at training camp, they've wanted to play quickly, and you've got to play fast against Philadelphia. And a strong forecheck. They've got a lot of injuries back there, as Rick pointed out. A lot of their top defense are out, so you want to try and get on their young guys and force them into making mistakes.
Nemestikov does get his third goal from Stralman and Drouin at 3:29. Play broken up by Filppula. Flyer defense handling it. Braden Coburn out for quite a while as let's check in with Chris Dingman down between the benches.
Well, as we touched on a little bit earlier, a game of hockey is a physical game. It's a tough game, and JT Brown talked about taking a puck in the upper area, and head trainer Tom Mulligan attending to him right now, and he's bleeding a little bit from the bridge of his nose, and I can attest to getting hit in the face with a puck. It doesn't feel too well, so some discomfort, but looks to be okay, and eyes are tearing up a little bit.
Well, it's good he stays on the bench, and we'll hopefully see him not before too long. Here's a shot just wide by Kucherov. Boy, he had room on that short side and just missed. Another Flyer defenseman missing. Kimmo Timonen, obviously, since before the season began. And most recently, Andrew McDonald. So that's a lot of minutes missing from that Flyer defense. Kucherov across the line.
Big minutes, too, as you pointed out, Rick. And, and really some of their best puck movers, especially Timonen.
Pass ahead for Kucherov. It's whistled down. Steve Barton really leaned on that whistle to make sure that everybody heard. And the play's offside.
Well, let's take a look at who's not in the lineup tonight for either club. Vinny Lecavalier still not quite ready after that injury of his. He could play again Saturday, like Rick talked about. Callahan could play Saturday as well. Barberio, the only player on the Lightning side that's not injured.
Shane Gostisbehere, the South Florida native, had been recently called up. And the Flyers have a game against the Panthers coming up Saturday night. Gostisbehere from that area, in fact, learned his hockey in the Junior Panther program. So, he's certainly hoping he can get into that one. And we'll have to wait and see on that as Brandon Manning brought up. And Gostisbehere not given the opportunity to play in this game. Simmons battles to win a puck, gets it back to Manning. He'll play it down the boards. Carl has it. Stralman starting it ahead. Pass ahead for Brown, and JT back in action. Brian Boyle off a 2-goal effort the other night. Long backhand try, steered away by Emery. Boyle also 14-7 in the faceoff circle. One of many stars for the Lightning that game. Brown couldn't get it on goal. Plays it back to Brendan Morrow. Puck deflected. Gudas holding it in off the leg. Boyle sends it across. He was trying to shoot it. It was tipped. And it nearly landed perfectly for JT Brown, but just by a stick. Jason Garrison hurrying back for the puck. It's tipped in by Gudas. He was up ice throwing a hit. Just past the 6-minute mark in the opening period. Tampa Bay in front 1-0. This is the Flyers' 10th game. They've only scored the first goal of the game twice. Delzato. Puck backhanded right into Gudas, and he starts it ahead. Here's Stamkos swinging in, shoots, and it's blocked at the defense, deflects out of play as that hit Nick Schultz. Stamkos and the Lightning leading on the goal by Nemestikov, 1-0.
Picking up right where they left off a couple of nights ago against Arizona. Vlad Nemestikov and the Bolts already on the board, leading 1-0. In that game against the Coyotes 2 nights ago, veteran defenseman Eric Brewer had one of his best nights statistically of his career. He was a +3. We're talking about a 15-year career in a 7-3 victory. By coincidence, the last time Brewer was +3, last April against these Philadelphia Flyers in a 4-2 Bolts victory. In his career, Rick and Chief, he's been a +3 21 times. They're a perfect 21-0 are his teams when he's a +3 or higher.
All right, Paul, we'll look for that, and hopefully he can duplicate that tonight.
Well, one of the things, he had a lot of incentive because he was -3 along with Andre Schuster at -4 in Minnesota, and both of them were not happy about that, and they wanted to make sure they proved a lot better job, or get a lot better job against Arizona, and they certainly did.
They talk about depth up front, and Paul and all of us have talked about the depth and the scoring for the Lightning evident Monday, but depth on D is certainly a far cry from what it used to be in years past, and Eric Brewer, a big part of that with Schuster. Mark Barberio has had just a couple of chances to play, and he's been very effective, so right on through the lineup. Carl back for the puck. Strawman picking up his 8th assist, 9-point. What a start for him. Palat circling back with Matt Carl. Strawman just got it away from Couturier. Tyler Johnson sending it across for Palat. Checked there by Matt Reed. Chief, you talked a little bit before the game that this might be a matchup that the Flyers would look to get on the ice here.
Yeah, the Couturier has been their shutdown center against all the guys that have come in. They're really hot. They did a great job against that 70 line in L.A.
Johnson in front. Backhander. Save Emery. He hangs on.
Move he made. Boy, you think he was going to try and take that shot, that backhanded shot. Watch this little drag move around that defense. Because right through there, and he comes in the backhand, and Emery well square to the puck makes the save. But what a sweet move that was right there. It looks like he was going to pass it, and he went around him. And now that's Nicholas Grossman. That's not a rookie. That's a veteran. And Tyler Johnson pulled that sweet move.
Well, you can't get caught looking at the puck with a guy like Tyler Johnson, nifty little toe dragging. Reminds me of that old saying, he could stick handle in the phone booth, and he did so there. Nice little backhander on net.
Lightning win the faceoff. Boyle wins that one to Garrison. Morrow with a shot, and it's deflected out of play. Chief, you talked about that 70s line that the Kings feature, so prominent in their run to the Stanley Cup last year. They're just having an average start here, right? 17 goals, 34 points among the three of them, Jeff Carter, Tanner Pearson, and Tyler Toffoli, and a +34. They were pretty much held in check by that crew you were talking about.
And they haven't even played a month yet. Yeah, they were. That crew did a good job of it. But the thing of it is now, what do you do when you get Stamkos and Killorn and Filppula out there? That's another thing. You got to pick your poison.
That's what that depth presents in terms of problems for the opposition. J.T. Brown nearly walked in with a steal. Flyers move it to center. Garrison quickly playing it back to Morrow. Garrison has it once again. Throwing it back to Gudas and sliding it out to center ice. Pass taken by Chris Vandevelde. He was one of the goal scorers in that controversial 3-2 win over the Kings in Philadelphia the other night. And Pierre-Edouard Bellemare also in this lineup, a new face. The Holy Hog Barbecue Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 barbecue sandwiches, 2 sides, 2 sodas for all Monday and Tuesday games. Packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
One of the things the Flyers struggled with in those first 4 games, Rick, was not getting off to a very good start. They were behind the 8 ball for quite a while there, and they were getting better starts in their last 3 games. And right now, they have yet to pick up their first shot on goal.
Lightning have 5. Brewer cuts it, fires into a crowd. That was blocked by Schultz, the veteran defenseman, and it's backhanded off the center. Schuster has it. And Schultz with it, playing with Delzato, the former Ranger first-round pick. Simmons' pass was blocked by Killorn. Boy, Chief, we were watching the Lightning strong in so many areas, including, it seemed, neutral zone play the other night against the Coyotes. John Cooper said it's still a work in progress. Here's a shot by Giroux, a stick save by Bishop. He felt they could play a little better there, but there was a strong facet of their game, it seemed, and the Lightning surrendering that first shot at 9:52 to Philadelphia. Emery plays the puck to Grossman. Voracek had it slapped off his stick by Johnson. Johnson trying to stir it up in there. Strawman holding strong on the boards. Mark Streit pressured. Kucherov with his quickness in there. Pass block. Come on, shoot. Saved by Emery. And he just kept the rebound away from Tyler Johnson. Johnson's had a couple of close calls. He nearly scored there with the help of Palat. 1-0 Lightning.
Welcome back to the Amalie Arena. 9:30 to go in the first period. Tampa Bay Lightning up 1-0 over the Philadelphia Flyers, and another great opportunity off the forecheck. Tyler Johnson's been all over things tonight, and a nice little give and go off the boards, putting the puck on net. And Chief, I know goaltenders don't like that too much, going the net hard, and a good job just putting the puck on net and plays off the cycle.
That's the one thing that all 3 of them talk about as they shoot the puck. They get in good position to shoot the puck, and they look for that shot in the shooting areas, and that's what happens. Palat got a good shot away, and they all say that Kucherov, they know he's going to shoot, so they have to follow suit.
Now, Palat and Johnson certainly have a long history together. Not so really with Kucherov, but he has jumped in there, and as you guys talking about, they're finding the holes. Here's Giroux. Flyer captain to the point. The shot is blocked in front off of Philadelphia's stick. It hit Michael Raffl, the Austrian winger. And away comes Stamkos. Flyers back in numbers. Giroux playing it out to center. Voracek. Tied with Tyler Johnson coming into this game with 11 assists apiece for the NHL lead. So Johnson having a great start, and so has Voracek. Here's a shot by Manning. It hits Giroux, and it's controlled by Filppula. 6-1 the shots, favoring Tampa Bay with a 1-0 lead.
You know, you have Strawman back there, and even when you have Filppula back there, the patience and the poise with the puck is incredible. Everybody seems to calm down. They don't panic when the puck's in there. They hold it to make sure they make the play.
From the point, it's Gudas. Can't get a shot away as Zach Rinaldo is right there to disrupt things. Garrison back, working with Gudas. Cedric Paquette starts it ahead. Rubbed out there by Rinaldo. Brandon Manning. 3 years in the Flyer organization. One thing Craig Berube said with Gostisbehere, who a lot of people are paying attention to. He's an excellent skating defenseman, but Flyers don't want to rush him, Chief, and Manning has a little more experience.
Yeah, that's the key thing about it, and they're trying to be patient. And, you take a look at this Lightning club. That's what's really helped them. They were really patient with their young players.
Boyle setting it in there for Brown. He was checked by Schultz. Braden Shen picking it up. And his pass well behind the intended target. It was Michael Delzato trying to activate. Boyle right with him. Away comes a 2-on-1 for the Flyers. They couldn't get it organized. Bellemare couldn't quite get his stick on the puck. Simmons penetrates. Shen looking for Bellemare. Shooting a save. They score! Simmons followed up. And Philadelphia has tied this game at 1.
On the rebound, that's all you got to do. We've talked about it. You get that puck on net and then go to it. And Simmons comes around with that rebound, and he took it out of midair as well. He picks up number 6. Again, they were able to turn that puck over in the neutral zone. They talked about it at the Lightning. They had almost a 2-on-1, and there's that rebound. And Simmons ties the game with his 6th here at 12:43.
Some sloppy play in the neutral zone. A nice center drive by Simmons, dishing the puck wide and just putting the puck on net. Sometimes the best pass is a rebound off the goaltender's pads, and that young man right there makes a living going to the net hard and picking up the rebound.
Led the Flyers last year with 29 goals. 15 power play goals among the league leaders, and he got off to a quick start with 3 power play goals this year. And he leads them now with 6 goals on this season overall. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare and Braden Shen pick up the assists at 12:43.
Well, Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey on Sun Sports is brought to you by Hat Tricks Tavern. We talked about a great place to go before and after, even during the game, to watch the game if you can't get into the building. But you might meet some of the famous people that come here and play on the ice here, as well as coach the teams. Great spot for visiting teams to drop in for those famous chicken wings.
Mark Streit back for the puck. He's paired with Grossman, a veteran tandem here. Pass ahead for Raffl. Only 9 goals last year. And Michael Raffl already with 5 this year. So a good start for him, as Chief talked about him in the open. Here's Alex Killorn at center. They'll keep it on the boards. Strawman following that play in deep with Stamkos. Voracek protects the puck. Stamkos hounding him. Away comes Voracek, the former high pick of Columbus. Dropping it back for Raffl. At the point, Luke Schenn with a drive and a save by Bishop. Away comes Stamkos. On the red line, he'll try to dump it in. Luke Schenn knocked it down. Luke, the older brother, by a couple of years. He'll turn 25 this weekend. And he's got the puck right now. Chased by Nemesnikov, the Lightning goal scorer. We're tied at 1. 6 minutes to go in the first. Couturier. Checked at center by Nemesnikov. Then Bishop out to handle the puck. Nemesnikov controls it. Out for Paquette. The left-hand shot playing over on the right side. And the puck deflects off sticks. Both Garrison and Matt Reed, and out of play as the Flyers responding on the goal by Simmons to tie the game.
On Halloween Eve, 5:38 to go in the first period. Flyers and Lightning tied at 1. And Jason Garrison, one of the new faces on the Tampa Bay Lightning this season, but he took that description to a whole new level Wednesday morning. This is Tampa Bay Lightning Scare Camp. Guys, how'd you like this greeting you at 8 o'clock in the morning to start the day? You can see the entire video on the Bolts website. And Rick and Chief, I don't know about you, but at 6'2", 220 with that beard, Garrison is already an intimidating figure. He doesn't need that mask.
I think he had more fun than anybody up there.
We saw a little of that earlier. He really caught Ben Bishop by surprise.
Yeah.
Chief, as a member of the union, you were a little concerned there.
Yeah, you don't want to really scare the goalie that's starting that night.
Wake him up.
He and his teammates really had a lot of fun with that. Schuster starts it ahead. Morrow flings it rink wide. It ends up on the stick of Manning. Simmons had to take it out of his hand. And with it Boyle, he overskates the puck, reaching back for it. Manning in the middle of that battle, along with Braden Shen, who's knocked down by Gudas. You knew that was bound to happen. Garrison, back to Gudas. Johnson slides it in. Emery, part of the Stanley Cup winning team in Chicago, working with Crawford in goal. Corey Crawford for the Blackhawks that year. Garrison leaving that puck in the corner. Now Radko Gudas shoving Giroux to the boards. Palat racing for it, got it away from Schultz. Right there, Giroux firing it off an ankle. And Garrison wins that puck battle.
A lot of play in the middle of the ice now. It started out a lot of play inside the Flyer zone. Now it's the neutral zone.
Play offside. We got the whistle just as that shot was released by Raffl.
Well, I'll tell you, when you talked about that bad start, the Flyers getting off to a better start, Claude Giroux took him, 18 games to get a point or something to that effect, or his first goal anyway. He had a lot of trouble, and this year, obviously, he got off to a better start than last year, but they came on very, very strongly after that.
Even though they went 0-2-2 in their first 4, they were far more competitive within the games than they were in going 1-7 to start last year. The Corona Tailgate Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 sandwiches, 4 Coronas for all Saturday home games. Packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. And, of course, the Lightning home Saturday against Ovechkin and the Capitals.
And they had some tough games they had to play, too, Rick, you know. They had to play in Boston, Dallas, Chicago, Pittsburgh.
Filppula trying to step inside on strike. Filppula stays on top of that puck. We're getting some serious puck battles now as the teams have settled in here.
That goal really kind of boosted the Flyers' spirits. They got out a little bit better. They really took them a long time, as we point out, 9:52 to get their first shot on goal. And Lightning scored at 3:29, and then they finally came back and scored at the 12:43 mark. And since then, they've been kind of settled down.
The puck's been bouncing around a little bit, and Tampa Bay Lightning need more of this. Get the puck in deep, cycle it, make the Flyers play down low on their own end. Something you always talk about towards the end of periods. Ice isn't as good. Make sure you're getting it out. Make sure you're getting it in. Simple plays.
Ronaldo chips it to the Lightning zone. Strawman back there for it. And it's played out by Stamkos. Swatted away by Brandon Manning. Cutting it, Jonathan Drouin. His try is steered away by Emery. Emery seeing a lot of rubber early in the contest. Flyers have gotten their bearings defensively. Luke Schenn at 2:29 muscles his way to a puck, and it's cleared out. Brewer. Beating it now to Nemestikov as Atkinson stepped up to make the hit. It's dumped in. Luke Schenn pressured by Paquette. Belmar met in that corner by Drouin. Neatly got the puck away. Brewer looking to shoot or open things up. Drouin does shoot. And Emery the stop, and he controls that rebound. Now we get to Paquette. And Manning pushing and shoving.
Most of the shots that they've had over the last while have come from the angle, making it rather easily, or making the save rather easy, for Emery. I think they got to get a little bit more to the center of the ice, a little more people in front of that ice, and make their shots count a little bit more.
Good job by Jonathan Drouin and his line mates. As you mentioned, Chief, a little bit working the puck on the boards, just trying to put pucks on net, trying to create a rebound. Or keep that on the ice, try and get one off the pads like the Flyers scored their goal with.
If you shoot from the point or from the wing, from the boards, you got to keep the puck low because that produces the rebound. You get it up in the equipment, those goalies smother it very easily.
That was Drouin's third shot of the game. Schultz centers, nobody there. Palat picks it up for the Lightning. Ripped away by Simmons. Lays it in there for Belmar, the native of Paris, France. Can't make a play. Gudas fires it off a flyer back to center. Brayden Schenn will dump it back to the corner. Gudas in after it. Garrison keeps it on the boards, and Palat with it. Ahead for Johnson. It reaches Brown. He'll tap it in. Emery laying it to the corner. Tyler Johnson comes up with it. Centers in front, and Emery just got a piece of that. Brendan Morrow alone in front.
Wide open net, and Morrow thought he had it. And what a great play by Emery. That's old school, deflecting that pass and then through the crease.
Belmar dumps it in. Schuster after it. Around for Morrow. Flyers change approaching. Under a minute to go in the opening period. J.T. Brown swings wide. Grossman with that long reach at 6'4", wouldn't let him shoot. Boyle centers, Brown in tight. Got it on goal. Emery covers it. 49.2 to play in the period. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers first intermission report. Paul Kennedy chatting with Vlad Namestnikov. Chris Dingman and PK will talk things over from the first 20 minutes. We'll have highlights and stats as well.
There's an interesting stat here coming into tonight's game. Philadelphia's only averaged 7.3 minutes a game in penalties. The only team that has less penalties per game is Chicago. Now, Philadelphia's a team over the last 3 years have led the league in penalties twice, and we're second the other time.
Chief, what's going on there, Chief? Your old mates are going soft.
I thought you couldn't change your spots if you were elected.
It's taken them quite a while if they can.
Yeah.
From the point, Luke Schenn shooting, and it's knocked down. Giroux appeared to get a stick on that and tipped it wide. It comes back to Schultz. He shoots. That's directed by Reed just wide. Reed around the net. Matt Reed trying to center. Good play by Strallman to drop to a knee to block it. Get up and control the puck. Now it's turned over. A shot off the post by Couturier. And Stamkos has to peel back. Under 10 seconds. Here's Giroux centering. And Couturier alone in front. He couldn't hold the pass. Fortunately for the Lightning. Still put it back the other way. Shooting at it. Deflects in behind the net. The horn sounds. Well, the Lightning with the goal by Namestnikov, capping what was a very, very strong start for Tampa Bay. The Flyers coming back, lifted by the Simmons goal. Pressure right to the end. The shot's unofficially 9-4 Tampa Bay. The score tied at 1. That's favoring the Lightning. Flyers didn't get their first one on goal till 9:52 of the period. And the Lightning with plenty of scoring chances. We saw Tyler Johnson wheeling and dealing in close there with Ray Emery.
Yeah, one of the things with that group there, Rick, is that, you know, I think if we get that idea that they really can control the play when they're passing the puck around, that they got to get back to that shooting a little bit more often. You know, so I think that's the key thing for them to get that shot area going.
Well, here's tonight's great moment in hockey history, brought to you by Geico. And this day in 2008, Steven Stamkos scored his first 2 goals of his career against Ryan Miller and the Sabres in Buffalo. Stamkos would add an assist. The Lightning win the game by the score of 5-2.
That's the trio that you really want to get going. He along with Filppula and Killorn. Get them fired up in here. You know, they got to get their shots.
Filppula had the first shot of the game, the only shot for that line thus far. Lightning out shooting the Flyers in that first period. As we noted, they're 3-0 here at home when they outshoot their opponent in the first period. We'll see if that holds true. First, we got to get the second period started. And Johnson and Couturier, the matchup Chief noted that we should keep an eye on. Of course, Craig Berube, as the visiting coach, doesn't have the last change. He's got to work a little harder to get that matchup. But that seems to be the one he wants.
He's been able to do it, get that quite often out there. And you know what? I'm not so sure so much as what he's been able to do. It's just that I don't think the coaching staff for the Lightning really worry about the matchups as much. Yeah, they like to get the D out there, but I think they feel that if you're worried about getting the guy up against a certain player on the forward lines, and it really disrupts your flow and disrupts your rotation as far as the forwards are concerned.
Plus, that means that the guy who was the subject of our great moment in hockey history, brought to you by Geico, Steven Stamkos, isn't facing their best checkers. Here's Palat. Across the line, loads up for the shot, takes it, and a save by Emery. Disguised it well. He's got it. Chased by Grossman. Raffl couldn't leave the zone. Good play by Palat to hold it in. Here's Johnson down low. Trying to curl it back for Kucherov. Sets it up. The shot by Strallman is blocked. And the puck ends up out of play. And back on the ice as we welcome in once again Chris Dingman between the benches.
You guys touched on matchups a little bit and what the Flyers want to do, but why not put Tyler Johnson right against him? You saw there the guys using their speed down low off the cycle, activating Anton Strom and knowing he could jump in there when they have puck possession. So good couple shifts early in this for a good shift to start this second period.
Stamkos a clean win. Gudas the drive, and it's deflected wide. Loose at the side. Emery lost track of the puck. It's behind the goal. Stamkos couldn't make a play. And away comes Matt Reed. Product of Bemidji State. 22 goals last year. Garrison getting it up the boards for Stamkos. And it comes all the way to the point. Schultz with a drive that goes wide. Alex Killorn. Stamkos tipping it out for Filppula. 1-on-4. Slapped away at the defense by Delzato. Emery lets it go. Delzato getting to it. Killorn bumped off the puck. Stamkos in there for it. We refer to Stammer's 2008 draft. We've also got Delzato involved in that draft, and Luke Shen in the Flyer lineup. A high pick of Toronto in that draft.
Delzato was a minor hockey league or youth hockey league teammate of Stamkos. They were pretty good friends all through their youth.
Drouin starts it into Paquette. He waits for an opening. Finds one, missed the net. Puck comes down to Braden Shen. Out ahead for Simmons, and the Lightning take over. Well, Drouin bracing for that collision as Luke Schenkein looking for him. And here's Paquette with a hit down low on Manick. Backhand try on goal. Drouin stopped there by Emery as Nemestikov got the first opportunity. He's got the Lightning goal. The Flyers dump it in.
He's pretty nifty with that puck himself. You know, we talk about control and holding on to that puck with Drouin and also with Kucherov. Nemestikov hangs on to that puck pretty well.
Nice little net play there, using the back of the net and stepping out. And something Brian Trottier told me a long time ago is that when you're walking out, they're just so soft on to keep a rebound. He did that there for a second and third opportunity.
Boyle steams into the Flyers zone, derailed there by Ronaldo. Strike. Flyers methodically work it out. Getting to it, Ronaldo. Vandevelde on as the center in this line. He scored his first Flyer goal the other night. Formerly in the Edmonton organization. Bumped there with Boyle in the corner. Morrow gets it out. He'll slide it down the ice. We'll get a whistle for the icing call.
Well, let's take a look at that, Clive. Watch Nemestikov. He tried to wrap it around, as Chris talked about, it was a nice slow wrap around. The rebound came out. That's all you're trying to do. When you're a goaltender and they're in that close, they want to cut off everything low. If you're going to beat them, you got to get them up high. Of course, in a wraparound, it's pretty difficult to do that. So smart play, as you pointed out, Dinger, to get that rebound off that wraparound.
Well, using the net for safety, the defenseman has got to make a choice whether he's going to chase you. And you saw Shen jumping on him once he makes that step out. But a good play by him, throwing a soft one, leaving a rebound.
Little miscommunication. I think Carl is expecting Morrow to turn toward the area he could put that pass. The Flyers try to work in deep in the Lightning zone. Bishop stopped in tight there as Voracek, Raffl, and Giroux go to work. Lead pass broken up by Schultz. Nick Schultz across for Delzato. Lightning shots, 2 from Nemestikov, including the goal, and 4 from Jonathan Drouin. That's that combination. We keep talking about productive combos, and that's not one that's we've talked about based on the last couple of nights, but it seems to be their night. Pass in front, blocked by Carl. Now a try tip by Carl out of play as Raffl's shot was spoiled.
They're really getting a little sloppy in their own zone. And one of the things you have to do is when you're going to make that play, you got to make it crisply. You can't just divot that little soft hope pass. And, you know, Philadelphia's a good forechecking team, so you got to make sure that that pass that you're sending it to your player or your teammate is very crisp and very hard. Because if he misses it, it goes out. Those soft passes are always intercepted, and that's what keeps the pressure on in your zone.
Oh, mantra, when in doubt, chip it out.
Driven on goal.
Gee.
And with the puck, Couturier swings wide as Umberger was stopped in tight by Bishop. Grossman for the point, angles it off the boards, and Bishop wise to the carom. He got back to the post. He's at the post for a try there along the goal line by Umberger. And away comes Filppula for the Lightning. In that zone with Killorn. Grossman carried him to the boards. Pass out of the reach of Stamkos. R.J. Umberger now back with the Flyers after 6 years with Columbus. Came over in the deal for Scott Hartnell in the offseason. Pass fired ahead for Killorn.
Flyers are really coming out of their own zone easily now.
Stamkos fires. Every the save. Rebound. Nobody but Flyers there, and Couturier with it. Lightning have to play it. Brewer will. As we played nearly 5 minutes here in the second period, the shot's 12-6 Tampa Bay. Here's Simmons in front, and Bishop reaching out, spoiling that pass. That was ticketed for Belmar. Brewer playing it to the corner, and we get the stoppage in play as it's deflected out of play.
Well, this is what you want your captain to do, especially Stamkos. When he's just taking that shot, he could beat a goalie from out there, even though if he even sees it. He got it off the blocker. Watch Emery's head if you see it again. He's not really sure where that rebound is. He went down and looked to his left. The puck was going off high to his right.
It's a 97-mile-an-hour laser going off. Coming off, it's hard to tell where the rebound is, but a good job by Valtteri Filppula doing the middle drive, opening things up for Steven Stamkos.
Stammer 14 goals in 20 career games against the Flyers. Here comes Philadelphia. That shot is blocked as Braden Schen's try was knocked down by Andre Schuster. Here's a shot at Bishop, a stop there. Braden Schenn gets it back. Works against Schuster. Penalty upcoming. It'll be our first of the game. It will go against the Lightning. Delayed call with Schultz, and he gave it up. And Philly going to the power play at 5:30 of this second period.
When you have your stick out there, you're trying to stick exactly. You got to knock the puck off.
2 minutes for holding.
But you have to body the man at the same time. And if you don't, what's going to happen? He gets in position on you. Look at that. You grab him twice, and it's going to be holding. You got to force him into the wall with your body. You keep with that stick out there and grabbing him with the other hand, you're going to get called every single time. Philadelphia gets the first power play.
Well, when you're a big guy, got to use your reach, got to use your stick, got to use your strength. And anytime you get caught chasing a guy like Schenn, you're in trouble.
Toyota power play chance. Mark Streit, the trigger man on this unit. He gets the pass. We've seen him with the Canadiens, with the Islanders, now with the Flyers. His second season in Philly. He winds and shoots, and it's clubbed by Bishop through traffic. He'll get a whistle. We'll see a lot of Simmons in front of that net, as Chris Digman pointed out in the first period.
Well, again, everything started from that face-off circle. The Lightning didn't win it. Philadelphia got it clean, and they get the shot on goal.
Well, it's a lot easier game when you're winning faceoffs and starting with the puck. You get an opportunity to get things set up. And touched on a little bit, guys. That's where Simmons makes a living in front of that net. He's got a big body. He's got a good set of hands trying to get that shot, get a redirect, get a tip, and possibly a rebound.
Giroux a face-off win. Streit works it back around. It's Claude Giroux. Now Simmons in tight. Is stopped by Bishop with a left leg pad. Lightning having trouble clearing. Finally, Boyle gets the job done. Lightning on the season, 86.2% on the kill, 7th best. 12 of 13 on home ice. Flyers in the power play, a little over 24%. They're right there in the rankings with the Lightning, near the top of the league. Giroux. He ended up third in scoring last year, taken down here by Boyle, who's going to get a call. O'Halloran with his arm in the air. And Philadelphia, with 1:08 to go in the first penalty, will now have the benefit of a 5-on-3.
And that will be, as you say, for that. They've had lengthy 5-on-3s.
Tampa number 11, 2 minutes for holding. 28, Philly, 2 minutes for holding the stick.
Oh, they call it. So you got Giroux for holding the stick as well. See underneath there, he's got his arm hooked on that stick. So Tim Peel picked it up both, so it will be a 4-on-4. I thought maybe it might go to 4-on-3.
Boyle and Giroux talking it over in the penalty box. Of course, they battled head-to-head in a 7-game series in the first round of the playoffs last year. The Rangers winning that one. Here's Streit shooting. He missed the net, so it's still a 5-on-4 for Philadelphia.
That's Giroux.
as the two miners cancel each other out. Strike
At 6:22.
with Delzato. Palat's out on Mark Streit, the Swiss-born defender. He shoots, and Palat got a piece of that. Couturier rushed by Johnson, saved by Reed. Matt Reed couldn't center, blocked by Strawman, and Palat chips it out. Johnson with speed in on Delzato.
Two great blocks there, guys. One by Palat and one by Strawman.
24 seconds on the Flyer power play. Streit sends it across. He's got an open man, fed back across the slot. Couturier out to the point. Delzato now to Streit. Back to Delzato. Lets it go. It's blocked in front. Cleared by Garrison.
Boy, great recovery by the Lightning, not only by Bishop, but by Gudas as well to get over there when it appeared that left winger had a wide open chance.
Simmons trying to make his way to the middle. Schuster's out of the box. Lightning kill the penalty. Stamkos now is checked at the line, and a Flyer penalty is upcoming. Delayed penalty. As you saw Bishop flash by to go to the bench for the extra skater. And Filppula cruising out to center. Killorn across the line. Dropping it back. Nobody there. Kucherov will get to it. Garrison playing it to Kucherov. Rifles it now to Killorn. Stamkos. Pass is deflected. Glove by Simmons. And it'll be Tampa Bay's turn on the power play as Stamkos gets clubbed in the face by Couturier. We're tied at 1.
The Flyers' Sean Couturier is in the box for high-sticking Steven Stamkos. The Bolts about to enjoy their first power play of the evening. To Lightning fans, conspicuous by his absence but fully in town, former Bolt captain Vincent Lecavalier, who was injured in the third game of the season for Philadelphia. Injured a foot, has been out the 7 games since, but it appears that he will return to action Saturday when the Flyers play in South Florida against the Panthers. He skated after their workout today, looks to be in great shape, is in the building tonight. Rick and Chief Vinny made 2 quick points, noteworthy to the media today. First of all, he said the Bolts have a great young team since he's departed. The way it's continued to develop, he really admires what Yzerman has done here. And the second point, he intends to make us, if we had any question, Tampa Bay his home when he does finally retire. But it was good to have him back in town.
Thanks very much, Paul. Always a classy individual. Vincent Lecavalier, such a credit to this community, and it's great he's going to stay here, Chief.
It is. And his mom and dad are on their way down here. They don't like to go anywhere else but Florida, he said.
Lightning on their first power play, 24.3%. Here's Garrison. The Strawman, he'll let it rip, and it deflects over the net. Emery was looking for that down low, and it got tipped over him.
Oh, they got a guy without a stick. It looks like Shed's broken his stick.
Well, now he's lost his helmet. Killorn trying to work the puck free. Strawman compacting the play. And Strawman neatly steps away with a puck. Sends it across. Filppula with it. Garrison now to Stamkos shooting at a pad save as Emery came across. He was ready for that one. The Flyers clear it out. 41 seconds to go in the penalty to Couturier.
That long change, it looked like Bishop could have hit somebody with a head pass, but Lightning needed a change as well.
Tyler Johnson had it work free. Recovered by Nemestikov. Now to Carl. Back for Nemestikov. He was disrupted there. And a steal by Raffl. Racing ahead. Palat pursuing. He caught up to him and forced him wide and stole the puck.
What a back check.
Boy, did he ever wait too so he wouldn't hook him. He waited till he got that extra stride and then just picked his pocket.
Johnson's pass read by Delzato. He was laying in the weeds there. Penalties over to Couturier. Flyers back to full strength. Here's Raffl again. He shoots. A save by Bishop. And he's got that puck covered. He gets a whistle. Just past the 10-minute mark of the second period. Palat. A great play defensively. Bishop as well to keep it 1-1.
Let's take a look at our high-def highlight brought to you by H.H. Craig. And what a tremendous back check by Andre Palat on this play. As you see him moving up the ice, watch right here. This is where, right here, is where you'll usually get a player to start hooking or start slapping at the player who has the puck. Watch how he waits and waits and waits so he can just get to the puck at that time and never takes it right off. But see right here, he gets it there. He doesn't hook it. He just gets the stick and gets the puck away from him. Usually at the top of the circles when the player will start to panic and try to disrupt him. But Palat got the extra stride in there and moved down low and was able to pick the puck away cleanly.
Second back check by him this period. Hard work and ill-advised drop pass by a defenseman.
JT Brown for the Lightning trying to move it out, having trouble doing so. Schuster will reverse. His partner Brewer's on the scene. Morrow bumped into his man, and the Flyers are forced to dump it back in. Brewer, look out, Ronaldo running in there as he typically does, 4 or 5 strides ahead. Schuster lets it go and out of the zone. Laid back in by Atkinson.
They got to get the game back in their control of the Lightning right now. Right now it's Philadelphia. They're really controlling that neutral zone as well as the offensive zone. Their puck retrieval has been very strong at this point of this period.
Now Bishop in a collision behind the net with Van de Velde and Brewer roughing him up in the corner. And let's see what develops here as an initial call appears to be going to Chris Van de Velde. Flyer fourth line stirring it up. We saw Ronaldo in one of those search and destroy missions a little earlier in the shift.
See what happens there. You see he comes out to take the puck away, and then there's the slew foot. And I think that's what's going to be the initial call. See that foot come in right at the very end there from behind, and I think you're probably what's going to happen now is that with Brewer coming over to protect his goaltender.
2 minutes for tripping. Tampa Bay, number 2, 2 minutes for roughing.
All this occurs at 11:04.
Toughest thing, guys, you can see the discussed by head coach Sean Cooper. The toughest thing is when to stick up for a teammate, when to turn the other cheek, like what Eric Brewer did there. You never know, Chief, I know you're not a big fan of this sometimes. You never know when they're going to call it, when they're not going to call it. 1 punch, 2 punches.
Yeah, what gets me is that if you're roughing, how come the other guy doesn't get a roughing call as well? That's what gets me. How do you rough with yourself?
Here's Voracek for the Flyers. 4-on-4 hockey as the puck is bunted in the air by Matt Carl. Then back to Grossman shooting, and it's gloved by Bishop. He'll hang on. Let's take a look at the Lightning's upcoming schedule, brought to you by Steak and Shake.
Well, as Rick pointed out earlier in the telecast, the Capitals with Alex Ovechkin and the new look Capitals with their new coach behind the bench, TJ Brody in Calgary, close out the homestand of the Lightning way next Thursday. Then they're on the road for 3. Columbus, Detroit, and then Chicago before they return home.
They're all looking to the right. There must be something over there, Chief. Gudas. Garrison with it. Filppula on the move as he's paired with Drouin. Well, that line, we talked about Nemestikov and Drouin getting a lot of the shots, and Emery, an easy stop there, and he holds.
Schultz did a job of, you talk about blocking out in basketball, this play here, Schultz denied Drouin even any access to the side of the net, let alone the front of the net.
Filppula will go against Giroux. Martin trying to get everybody settled down here before he drops the puck, and Filppula controls it. Gudas. Garrison throws it toward the net, steered away, deflected by Ray Emery. And Filppula digging for that puck in the corner. Works against Schultz. Long-time Minnesota Wild defenseman, moved on to Edmonton, then Columbus, now the Flyers. And a nice veteran pickup by new GM Ron Hextall because of the injuries that have happened to them since. Losing Timonen before the season even started has put them in a bind. Puck left, Giroux just had it tapped away by Gudas. Out comes Drouin. The 19-year-old cuts to the middle. He hangs on. The Lightning changing behind him. He's still got the puck. Centers in front, and it's off a skate as Filppula couldn't get his stick free to handle it. Lead pass. Filppula wanted to change. He has to stay on the back check. Strike's play is knocked down. Grossman ahead for Couturier. Played well by Carl. Mark Streit. Chased now by Stamkos. Pass reaching Simmons. He's got the Flyer goal. And he's turned back by Alex Killorn at the line. Stepping up is Carl. Penalty's over. Team's at full strength. Braden Shen from the corner looking to make a play. Out to the point. Brandon Manning throwing it back around the boards. Reaching Simmons. Shrugs off ahead. Leaving it for Shen. Now to his older brother Luke. Scooped up by Strowman. Brewer gets it out to center. Brewer a forward for the moment, now getting to the bench as the Flyers now dump it in. And the teams will get set units on. Simmons feeding it. Here's a shot. A save by Bishop. Belmar let it go on a quick release.
Philadelphia right now is absolutely outplaying the Lightning. They're much more structured in their play. They're getting so much more puck retrieval. They're hanging onto the puck and controlling it. And they're getting their shots away. Maybe it's the way that ice is slanted to that end because the Lightning had controlled that end for most of the first period. Now it's Philadelphia's turn to control that end.
A good shift. A little bit before that, Jonathan Drouin on the forecheck, and then good job on the back check, creating some offensive chances. But that ice being slanted, if you go and try and get an offensive opportunity, you get stuck in your own end after. Tough to play defense.
Andre Palat on the lead. He's got Boyle with him. The pass denied. It's held in by Brewer. Schuster wristing it. Caught easily by Ray Emery. We'll get a stoppage in play. America's new sports network is the place to turn before every home run, every goal, every game with America's pregame show on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tune into America's pregame show weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern only on Fox Sports 1. Great coverage of the World Series. And what a World Series it was right down to the end. Here's a pass for Brewer. It's blocked in front by Schultz. Flyers get it ahead. Nice poke check there by Garrison. Garrison hands it now to Tyler Johnson. Ahead for Kucherov, racing it against Delzato. Got to turn him inside out. Got it back in front and picked up by Johnson. Beating it now. Kucherov shooting a shoulder save by Emery. That was a tester.
We're going to have to really watch out for that number 86 in blue every time he's on the ice because he finds the open holes and he's got a tremendous accurate shot.
And making it happen, Tyler Johnson, who has just got an extra gear that most skaters out there tonight don't have. Palat, bumped by Raffl. Michael Raffl, checked there by Brewer. 2-on-1, Giroux. Voracek missed the net. He had an open side. Raffl trying to make a play off the boards. It ends up with Nemestikov. Nemestikov 1-on-2, ridden off by Luke Shen. And we get a collision and a whistle.
Shen's going to get up a hooking call.
1-1 still as we enter the late stages of the second.
You see the time remaining here in the second period. They're both deadlocked at 1, but take a look. The Lightning's home record versus the Flyers, as you see all time, they're just one win under 500. And they've been able to score a lot on this team. Biggest thing in the last 6 games, though, is that goals against. 1.5. They've really had the the Flyers number over those last 6 games here.
John Cooper behind the bench for a couple of those wins last year. Lightning go to Philadelphia twice this year. Luke Schenn for hooking, 15:06. Stamkos fires, saved by Emery, tapped by Killorn, and he hangs on to it, gets a whistle. Little presence in front of that net here from Alex Killorn.
Yeah, you got to make sure what made them so successful against Arizona and Mike Smith is they had 1-2 guys in front of him all night long, which brings over a defenseman, at least one, if not two. And half the time you couldn't see Smith for the other players in front of him.
They want Steven Stamkos shooting the puck, but just not from that far out, and be in front of the net, but be in front of the goaltender.
Stamkos to Killorn. Filppula is in the slot now. Around they work it to Strom, and his pass is tipped by Reed. Bishop decides he'd better step it up and get out and play that puck. He had started out kind of slowly, but Reed was speeding in there. And Bishop easily won the race to it. Stamkos reaching for it, has it. Back to Garrison. Stamkos with Killorn in front. Here's a shot. It's tipped, a save by Emery. Grossman got it away from Killorn and Filppula. Strom chased to center. Flyers really have those guys covering the points up high.
They really do. You could probably work that area at the top of the circle.
As you mentioned, a good job by the Flyers. Penalty killers putting pressure on the guy in the half wall and the defenseman, knowing they'd like to work that puck back to Tampa Bay Lightning and try and get a pass to Steven Stamkos.
Here comes Johnson, flying into the zone, fires, a stop by Emery. I think he took that off the mask from the sharp angle, and the Flyers clear it back out.
Well, right now, the Flyers penalty kill is under 80% coming into tonight's game, but boy, they've been very, very sound on their first power play or penalty kill chance, and then of course so far in this one.
Johnson watched by Umberger. Back to Carl. 15 on the penalty. Palat fakes, cuts wide. Couldn't get it in front. Nick Schultz having a strong night on the Flyer back line, and it's cleared out.
A good play and a good pass and a nice fake by Andre Palat, but just shoot it after you make that first fake. They'll go for the second one.
Brown. His pass was spoiled there by Belmar. He'll throw it off the glass with a penalty expiring. Philadelphia back at full strength. And still tied at one in this hockey game. A.T. Brown on the forecheck in there with Boyle and Morrow. Boyle has it. Beats the point. Gudas. Brewer takes a look. He'll send it off a shin pad as it skimmed off Ronaldo. Boyle protects the puck. Somebody 6'7", 244 can. Gudas across to Brewer once again. Now to Brown with a shot. That's knocked down in front by Atkinson. Ronaldo moving it to center. Brown covering up. Takes it for the Lightning. Morrow trying to get it rink wide and could not. Pass hitting Jason Atkinson. Shuts into the zone now as he's checked there by Gudas. Ronaldo had it worked away by Brewer. Held in by Luke Schenn. Brewer with 1:40 to go in the second period. Delayed penalty upcoming here against Philadelphia. Boyle dropping it back to Brewer. Stamkos on the ice with this delayed penalty situation. Boyle still out there, and as the Flyers take it, we'll get the call at 18:34. O'Halloran directing traffic.
Well, third power play of this period. Roughing's the call.
This is the Tico Energy.
Lightning had 3 shots on that last penalty power play opportunity, and got to start to try and get those rebounds. We saw that in Calgary when they were able to get 2 rebound goals to win the game.
Zach Ronaldo, who led them last year with 153 penalty minutes, heads to the box. Stamkos throws it between the point men. Strawman and Garrison have to come back.
Zach Ronaldo to
Let's see the Lightning work a high-low play, guys. Going back to the point, just not working for him right now. Move the puck down to the goal line, take the puck to the net.
Stamkos to Filppula, closely watched by Grossman. Pass reaching Strawman. Garrison
This is the last minute.
working with him with under a minute to go in the period. Stamkos fires across Filppula. Shoots! He fires it wide! He had the upper half of the net. A desperate dive by Emery would not have gotten that one, but it missed the net. Here's Stamkos shoots. He scores! Tampa Bay clicks with a man advantage, 2-1.
What a shot. He had hardly any room, but we've seen that so often over the years, Rick. Take a look. He walks in again. That right-handed shot on the off wing. Little bit on the short side. He founds it right up high. Watch him. He's kind of playing that middle of the ice. Looking for that pass into the middle. Not expecting Stamkos maybe to shoot from there. He does. Gives the Lightning the lead with the power play goal.
Well, 7th of the season, and tried to share with his teammate. When in doubt, just do it yourself. And Lee Sure off the wing.
He leads the Lightning with 3 power play goals. Kucherov back for the puck with Carl now with 34 seconds to go before the second intermission. And the timing of that goal could not be better, guys. Looking for the third.
Well, the momentum towards the end of the second here, getting some opportunities. You guys talk about it quite a bit. You got to make them pay if they're going to take penalties.
Giroux for the Flyers steps in. Playing it out of Braden Shen. Nice inside-out move, and the pass across got away from Giroux. Delzato from the point. Feeding it out of Giroux. He didn't have it in the right spot for the one-timer. That's where he needed it with time running down. And Giroux put down by Gudas. And here come the reinforcements.
That's why the play was stopped. He took him out of the play. That stick checking and let him get back in the play hurts you every time. Gudas doesn't allow that.
Garrison and Filppula get the assists on Stamkos' 7th at 19-14. Stammer will join Paul Kennedy outside the Lightning room. We'll introduce you to tonight's community hero and Chris Digman with Paul. Highlights and stats all coming up on the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers second intermission report. As things settle down here of the Lightning, giving the crowd a big thrill late in the period. The power play goal by Stamkos, and Tampa Bay's got a 2-1 lead. Harbor Island, Garrison Channel, and more. On the eve of Halloween, the Flyers and the Lightning going at it. 2-1 Lightning in front, Chief. Radko Gudas picking up a roughing penalty in that scrum at the end. Lightning are going to have to kill that penalty when we start the third period. But in terms of protecting a lead, the Lightning 4-0-1 this year when they've had a lead in the third period, so they've done a pretty good job.
They really have, and they've really done a good job defensively when they've had that lead. And even in this game, I know there's been stretches in that second period where they really were kind of being outplayed by the Philadelphia, but still, the Flyers still only managed 12 shots through 40 minutes of play. This is a key penalty kill for the Lightning right at the start.
Well, special teams so far. This will be Philly's second power play chance, and the Lightning with that Stamkos goal. Their number is 1 for 3. And the Lightning with the edge in shots, no question about that. Right from the start of this game, they had the first 6 of the hockey game.
Yeah, they've had 39 towards the net, which includes, the missed shots that they had and the block shots that Philadelphia has come up with. And Philadelphia has only had 24, which is better than the first period when they only had 9 towards the net.
Well, the Lightning will open with J.T. Brown, Brian Boyle, their top pair of penalty-killing forwards to get things started. Brewer and Garrison defensively. And the Flyer power play with Claude Giroux centering this unit. Wayne Simmons, they got to watch around the net. Braden Shen's been effective lately as well. He's had 2 game-winning goals for them in these last 3 consecutive wins. Puck is sent back to the point to Mark Streit. Giroux sets up the half boards. Well, they had that play to the middle covered. 3 members of the Lightning there, and it's eased down the ice.
I wondered what Giroux was looking at. He had two guys who were all over the guy he was passing the puck to.
Toyota power play chance for Philadelphia. Coming late at Giroux. Around for Braden Shen. Strike. Pressured there by Andre Palat, who drove him out of the zone. Here's Shen across the shot. Saved by Bishop. Makes the stop and hangs on to it as Voracek was robbed, and he is upset he missed that opportunity.
Yeah, you got to get that shot a lot higher than that if you want to try and score. The way the goaltenders play now, they get across very quickly and they block everything low. You got to be thinking high, and he didn't get it up high enough. Bishop making a good save.
1:08 to go on the Gudas penalty. Brian Boyle beaten by Couturier in the faceoff. Here's Couturier shooting, and it's off a skate, deflects out of play. Chris Dingman between the benches, and Philly with an opportunity, Chris, right off the bat here in the third.
Fresh set of ice and cleaned ice where it's good to make passes, and they want to put pucks on net, and a good job there just blocking a shot. The Lightning doing a good job of that, controlling rebounds, but they're putting every puck they can on net, trying to get a rebound because they know how hard it is to beat Ben Bishop on the first shot.
Boyle wins that draw. He's been well over 60% the last 8 games or so. Almost 60% on the season. And the Lightning get that clear. Pass ahead to Couturier. Chief, you were noting something on faceoffs with special teams in this game.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it is both teams, when they've had the power play, are 100% in the faceoff circle. So the penalty killers are not doing a very good job of winning draws, but we just saw Boyle win one there for the Lightning.
That might have been the first one for either side.
I think it is.
Out comes Schultz. Matt Reed to center. Trying to chip it in. Stopped by Palat. Ahead for Tyler Johnson. He speeds in. Backhander off the mask of Emery. Tyler Johnson is just flying out there tonight. And Andre Palat with yet another outstanding defensive play to get it started. Bishop leaving it for Garrison. He's hurried in there. Palat helps out. Back of the point, it's Strike. Gudas leaves the box. The shot is saved by Bishop. He was screened on that. Lightning survived the penalty. Raffles stick hooked a moment there by Garrison. Pass deflects back to Strike. Garrison comes up with it. Brewer checked in there by Belmar, and away comes Johnson. He swings in wide. Now to Palat. Feed is deflected. And we get a whistle. And a high stick indicated here at 2:28. Tim Peel.
I think it's a...
Philadelphia, 2 minutes high sticking.
I think this is really going to be their downfall right now. We talked about how little Philadelphia's been penalized this season, but they're certainly picking up now. Grossman's getting a high stick as he took out Johnson when he came down there. Look at the stick comes right up at him on that play. Comes rolled right up the arm, the shoulder, into the face. 2:28 will be the time. The Lightning 1 for 3 with the man advantage. Their one goal came at the end of the second period that gave them the 2-1 lead.
A Philadelphia penalty, number 8, Nicholas Grossman. 2 minutes for
Filppula. Stamkos in the slot. Now he peels off, goes to the boards from the angle. Back to Garrison with the wrist shot saved by Emery, and the rebound kicked out where Couturier could clear it down the ice.
I don't know if you notice that setup, Steven Stamkos in the slot and then sliding over his one-timer side, trying to get lost a little bit. He knows the Flyers or the penalty killers are keying on him.
Well, we've seen him in power plays earlier in the season where he's kind of floated around and appeared from a lot of different areas. As the Flyers will send the puck back down the ice.
Yeah. That's the thing that was working so well for them in the power play earlier in the year, is the fact that he was like a rover out there. They couldn't really key on him. They didn't know where he was.
We're going to try and get lost. Everyone knows about his one-timer on his off wing. Something they try and do, get him moving around, see if you can get him lost where the penalty killers lose sight of him where he is.
Bouncing puck, Bishop had to play it, and Belmar is at a strong game. 29-year-old from Paris, France, with the pressure on that play, and now Reed's got the puck. He had 4 shorthanded goals last year.
Boy, when you lose the puck, you got to work extremely hard to get it back, and you got to really work hard with that man advantage. That penalty kill unit is going to be coming at you hard.
Here comes Johnson under 30 seconds on the penalty. Palat to Matt Carl. Andre Palat as Nemesnikov near the net. He scored on a deflection on the shot by Strawman back in the first period. Lightning can't get anything set up here with 8 seconds now on the call against Grossman. Palat is bumped by Luke Schenn. Schultz, he's crunched by Kucherov. Flyers can't clear it out. Great play. Carl holding it in, penalty over. Kucherov just fires it wide. He whistled one past the glove of Ray Emery, and it's cleared out.
Sloppy entries by the Tampa Bay Lightning and good pressure by the forwards and the penalty killers of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Puck knocked in the middle of the ice. Wayne Simmons has it. Trying to keep it away from Jonathan Drouin. It's controlled now by Paquette. Brendan Morrow can't get it behind the Philly defense. Paquette blocked the outlet, though. And Delzado's got to work a little bit to move that to center. He does so through the skates of Simmons. Icing is the call. The Coke Zero Pin Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 sodas, 2 collectible player pins for select home games. Packages start as low as $20. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets.
Well, we talked about it, Rick, that this was a very important penalty kill for the Lightning. They did a really good job of it. And now they can go from here.
Well, the Flyers come back with one of their own and keep it a 2-1 score as we're 5 minutes into this third period. Simmons gave up the puck. Strawman getting it back to Killorn. He's got Stamkos with him. Takes a look. Slides it across. Filppula swings around the net. Looking for an open teammate. There's Stamkos. Scores!
What a tremendous play by Filppula. He and Stamkos both really, he set up, Stamkos sets him up with a great play, and then he couldn't control the puck as well. Now he's waiting and waiting. Everybody's looking over there. Watch this pass. And Killorn getting in front, really taking away everybody's attention. And Stamkos rips it home for a second of the game, 8th of the year. But they really moved that puck around. They actually changed sides in order to get that goal.
Patience, and you had 4 Flyers mesmerized. And Valtteri Filppula opening up Steven Stamkos.
Well, that's the value of him moving around. Eventually, you're going to lose him.
Well, the patience of a guy like Valtteri Filppula also hanging onto the puck there, forcing guys to come to him, panicking.
Filppula and Killorn the assists. Stamkos is 8th at 5:30. Puck dumped in by Raffl. Remember a couple of years ago at the Wells Fargo Center, Stamkos had a hat trick. I think Marty St. Louis had a hat trick in the same game. It was a wild 7-6 game that the Lightning won. There's a pass in front tipped away by Gudas, so he does have a hat trick against Philly. And now 16 goals in 21 games against him in his career. Manning with the shot. Saved by Bishop. Rebound loose in front. They score! It was jammed home right in front. I think Voracek got it. Philadelphia gets one back. It's a 3-2 hockey game.
That's the thing. You got to clear that French porch. You allow guys to stand around there, and you're not going to happen. But this one here, you see Voracek still getting it, still whacking at it. And the 5-hole opened up on Bishop. Watch as he thought he had to move, and then that leg came off and found the 5-hole and just rolls underneath him. And it's back to a 1-goal game.
Well, something we always talked about is the next shift. After you score a goal, after you get scored on the next shift, oh so important. And Tampa Bay Lightning just kind of falling asleep a little bit there. And in front of the net, you got to take the puck or the man. The Lightning did neither there.
Philly scoring a minute and 8 seconds after the Stamkos goal. Play forced to center. Down goes Simmons. It's played in. And the Lightning move it ahead. Brewer across for Paquette. He'll send it off a Flyers stick and out of play with 13:01 to go. And a hotly contested third period. Stamkos his second goal. Voracek answers. It's 3-2 Lightning.
For the part of those two players, and everybody was watching Filppula on that second opportunity. Nobody found Stamkos.
Lightning win a puck down low and a big hit along the boards by Palat. Back up to Gudas. Across to Brewer. In for Kucherov. Muscled there by Luke Schenn. Gudas with it, tried to fire toward the net. Braden Schenn blocked it. Belmar to center. Belmar playing the last 5 years in the Swedish Elite League, one of the top players there. He was outstanding for his native France at the World Championships and was signed as a free agent afterward by the Flyers.
Remember, we're coming out of people talking about where was he going to play. Well, we certainly see how well he plays. He's very strong with puck possession.
Now Streit and Killorn jabbing at each other. Emery the save on Garrison. Tonight's broadcast code of the game is face-off. Simply go to lightningfanrewards.com and enter the code in our game day challenge section. Register now to start playing. Voracek's goal. Manning and Raffl the assist for Manning. It's his 11th NHL game, his third assist. He does not have any goals. That goal at 6:38. First time he's been up with the Flyers since a couple of years ago, though. Here's Couturier to center. His hand was forced by Garrison. Giroux's pass taken over by Strawman. Reed recovers it. Killorn steals. Worked free by Giroux. And it's held on the line. Delzato. Giroux. Misses on the glove side of Bishop.
That was outside the line.
Flyers reorganize with Schultz shooting it in. Bishop out to play it. They changed the second assist from Raffl to Giroux on the Philadelphia goal by Voracek. 3-2 our score. Lightning dump it in.
Last Philadelphia goal.
Big part of the game right now.
Pass to Voracek, speeding across. In front, Belmar's shot was just deflected wide. In the corner, Drouin helped out there by Carl. His pass taken over, though, by Raffl. Voracek shooting, snuffed out by Brewer. Drouin trying to skate off with a puck. Dribbles ahead to the point. Nicholas Grossman with a wrist shot. Blocked by Carl. Raffl with a try. A stop by Bishop. Dives to cover. Gets a whistle.
Well, we saw this in the first period when the Flyers tied the game at 12:43 of the first. They really started to come on strongly. And then Stamkos with that power play goal at the end of the second, and then gets one right quickly into the third. You could almost see them drop down a little bit because of that. But that goal by Voracek has regenerated some enthusiasm in them.
100% plays right now for the Tampa Bay Lightning. No hope plays. All the plays you're making are 100% plays. Get it out, get it in. 5-foot passes.
Morrow dumps it in. Now we've talked about Tyler Johnson having a little extra octane tonight. I think Voracek's the guy on the Flyers side who's had it.
From first to fourth, going wide there.
Long pass to center, and it reaches R.J. Umberger, the veteran winger, matched up with Garrison, riding into the boards. Boyle comes by, couldn't quite pick up the puck. He got submarine there by Ronaldo, and it's played out to center. Belmar denied by Gudas, turned it over to Brown. Both teams making some changes.
Good play there by Brian Boyle, battling on the boards and just getting it out, relieving the pressure, and now they're getting set up.
Strawman patiently making his way to center. Sent it in from his side of center, but it's controlled by the Flyers, and the Lightning trying to get settled in with a cycle. Palat squished against the boards there. Luke Schenn, at nearly 230 pounds, can do it.
That's what I'm talking about. He had the play. All he did was take him out of the play. Flyers get the puck. That's what you have to do in the defensive zone. Don't allow that guy to get back into the play. Eliminate him.
Johnson dropping it back. Strawman with it. Paired with Brewer now. Puck lifted out for Killorn. It bounced off his shin pads. Giroux waits for the zone to clear, starts it back in. Here's Raffl shooting. Bishop out to make the save. Took it off the chest, cut down the angle. Brewer got it free to Stamkos. Races to center. Across the line with Filppula now. He's battling Giroux. Voracek, look out. Carl got there, took the puck away.
He's lucky it was Carl. He would have been up in the fifth row.
Raffl fires it out to center. Matt Carl right there. Emery trying to help out his defense. Giroux for the moment remaining on. 8:20 to go in the third period. It's a one-goal game once again. The teams have traded goals here in the third. Now Bishop gets to a puck above the goal line. And he's going to leave it in traffic behind the net. Carl poking it along. Taken by Grossman. He missed the net. However, it comes to strike. Reed playing it back. Umberger there, bumped by Nemestikov. Carl turns away. Nemestikov with support. And Drouin off the glass to center. It ends up out of play. Under 8 minutes to go in the third. The shot's 26-20 Lightning. 3-2 Tampa Bay.
Well, the Lightning are enjoying this 3-2 lead thanks to their captain, Steven Stamkos, and he's our diamond performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers. Those 2 goals, he opened up the scoring, or got that goal, at the very tail end of the second period, then opened up the scoring here in the third to give a Lightning a 2-goal lead before Voracek scored his third of the year to put them within 1 again. But our diamond performance of the game by Ackerman Jewelers, Steven Stamkos.
Andre Schuster not on the Lightning bench, has been missing for a while, and we've noticed some different combinations on the defense as a result. Brian Boyle fights his way through a check to center. Long drive in on Emery. Brown right there with Grossman, the former Dallas Star.
This is where your puck retrieval comes in. If you're getting that puck in deep, you got to go down and get it.
Brown holding it in with Boyle. Morrow heads for the corner for a little longer session in that Flyer zone.
Good point by you, Chief. Getting the puck in, you got to go get it, but it's also putting it in a spot where you can go get a forecheck.
Strike gets away from Boyle. Continues on. Carl stands him up. Strike still with a puck.
That's what I'm talking about. You've got to take a man out physically. Yeah, the stick's got to be there, but you got to get him in there. You had 3 guys they went through. Still had control of the puck when he got in behind the net.
Manning, the young defenseman, back for the puck. Now to Umberger, and he's punished on the head at center ice. Lightning have it. Here comes Palat through center. Sliding it now to Kucherov. Couldn't get it organized before Manning arrived. Palat feeding it back to Garrison. Looking for Johnson in the corner. Avoided the hit from Schenn. Sliding it back for Kucherov. Going to slip the check. And he was looking for one of his line mates lurking around the goal, but Luke Schenn right there. Umberger. And he got rid of that puck just before Gudas came across. Garrison over for Palat. Looking for Johnson. A risky play. Flyers have it. Kucherov battles to get it back. Johnson to center. Palat with him. Johnson down the middle to Palat. And there defensively was Belmar once again.
Well, he's been very impressive, Rick. This is our first time to look at that. As you point out, 29-year-old Ricky Boy. He's very solid defensively.
Not a lot of French-born players in the history of the league. You've got players like Paul McLean who happen to be born in France. But this guy's from Paris, France, and has played for the national team and has been a star in the European leagues. Here's Stamkos playing it back to Brewer. Schultz with it. Carl and Brewer reunited. Stamkos playing it off the stanchion into the zone. Strike, watched by Killorn. Who now has picked up points in 4 consecutive games that he's played in. Long pass to Raffl, and it's blown dead. It's brought back. A break for the Lightning with their 1-goal lead in just over 5 minutes to go.
Two Lightning up. Here in the third, let's take a look at our goal leaders. But those 2 goals tonight, you see Steven Stamkos jumping up to the second spot. Perry and Rick Nash with 9 apiece leading the league. I think Stamkos even tied with a couple of guys at 8 as well. But he's been scoring in bunches. Flyers pick up a too many men on the ice penalty. Guy entered into the play before the Flyers got off the ice. Will be served by Simmons, Wayne Simmons. So the Lightning will pick up their 5th power play. This could be as good as the power penalty kill was in the start of the period. This could be the real changing part of the game right here if they can click with a power play goal.
Stamkos has the Lightning power play goal. Here's Strawman. Killorn near the net. Filppula in the near circle. Stamkos the one-timer, blasting it by a screen and wide. Strawman has it. Filppula with it. He's assisted on both Stammer goals. Stamkos with a shot. A save by Emery. Hangs on. And Killorn trying to shake free an opportunity as he was foraging around in front.
I'll tell you, this is something that when you get to these really tight 1-goal games, your special teams can really be a difference maker.
A couple things at play here, too, as you're looking at Steven Stamkos. A couple goals. His teammates always want to get him. Always want to get him that last one, but you don't want to look for him too much.
Garrison with the shot. A save by Emery. That's his 6th shot on goal. Strawman down. Umberger gets the puck to center. Flyers down a goal. They might be looking a little bit more toward creating something at the offensive end while shorthanded. They do not have a shorthanded goal yet. Here's Filppula through center. Stamkos around one man. From the angle firing. Emery out to make the save. Boy, with the speed with which he hit that line, you thought he had a chance there. Filppula, Strawman, Garrison, Stamkos down low. Killorn shoots, deflected wide. Delzato got there in the nick of time. Garrison in behind. Stamkos trying to walk in front. It's off Emery's stick. Comes back to Strawman. 46 in the penalty, served by Simmons. Strawman now to Filppula. Lightning with a little movement here. Garrison's on the half boards. Hands it to Stamkos. Filppula with a shot, and he sends it wide off the glass. Strawman. Filppula has it. Killorn is behind the net. The pass to him. Strawman trying to settle in there now in front. Here's Killorn trying to hand it to Strawman. Deflected. Filppula finds it. Lightning closing in right around the net. Stamkos. Now to Garrison. Shoots. He scores! 5 seconds left on the penalty, and the Lightning capitalize. They're up by 2 with 3:12 to go.
Well, we all know that big shot of Jason Garrison, and especially with the power play. Boy, great puck movement down low. And look at how they had everybody collapse in Philadelphia. And that shot fouled the 5-hole on Ray Emery. But look at how far down low they are. And Garrison just comes right into the best scoring areas of it all, right at the top of that circle, and just rips it through the pads for his first of the year, the 2nd power play goal for the Lightning. It's a 4-2 lead.
Garrison with a cannon from the point, but some unselfish play by Steven Stamkos, giving up the shot a couple times and making some passes. And Chief, you touched on all the penalty killers being down low. It's because they're walking in fence posts because they've been out there killing a penalty for a minute and a half plus.
Now Garrison, who had 16 goals in the power play for the Florida Panthers 3 years ago, earned a nice contract as a result of that, and certainly was a regular threat on the Vancouver power play. Connects here from Stamkos and Filppula. Stamkos 2 goals and an assist. Filppula 3 assists on the night. Garrison a goal and an assist, and the Flyers now have 2:34 left to try to come back in this one, trailing by a couple.
16:48.
The Flyers this year have given up 3 goals or more in 7 of their 10 games, including tonight. Here's a shot by Grossman, deflected high and wide. Emery's gone to the bench for the extra skater. as they're down 2 goals and 2:08 to go in the third. Simmons along the boards, maneuvers in front. Drouin took it away. He chips it safely out. Couturier couldn't get it behind the defense. Strawman playing it back. Grossman pursued there by Drouin. Jonathan, 4 shots fairly early in this hockey game. His line with Domestikov and Paquette, an outstanding start. And the rest of the crew is caught up since. Here's Voracek flying into that zone. Still has the puck. Fires, and it's tipped just wide by Raffl. Delzato back down the boards. Reaching Couturier. Giroux. Strike looks. Drouin out on him. Giroux shoots. A save by Bishop. That deflected off Garrison's shin pads. There's Raffl. He missed by a healthy margin. Lightning get the puck. Boyle trying to get it out. Couturier holding it in. Voracek to Giroux. Strike. Playing it back. That shot is blocked by Garrison. He's struggling a bit after that. Blocks the shot again, and the shot wide by Raffl with under a minute to go. And Raffl shoots. He scores. He taps it in with 53.5 seconds to go in regulation.
One of the things you got to hand it to Philadelphia, they kept that puck moving constantly in that offensive zone. And the one time that they had a chance to get it out, they did a great job of keeping it in, and then they just found the open man. And Raffl, who was very hot coming in, 3 goals in his last 2 games, gets the goal to put them within 1, and they have 53.5 seconds to go to try and tie it.
Both teams have their timeouts available. Philly's going to use theirs right now.
Let's take a look at tonight's 3 stars brought to you by Steak and Shake. Well, let's take a look at our 3 stars. You talked about Tyler Johnson having a tremendous game. He's our number 3 star. Filppula, number 2 with those 3 assists, especially in the last 2 power plays. And then Steven Stamkos with his 2 goals and that assist to Garrison to get his first of the year is our number 1 star.
Now the Lightning up a goal. It's still 53.5 seconds to go. Emery back in net, but he's standing 15 feet out in front of his goal.
Face-off's also important. This one right now.
And Giroux wins another one. Emery going right to the bench for the extra skater. And it's fired in. Off the glass support. Brewer kept it back of the goal. So 6 skaters on. Philly going right to work again where they left off in the Lightning zone. Couturier checked in the corner. Simmons controls it. Filppula trying to get it away from him. Giroux looking to make a play. Lightning will be content to hold him on the boards, but away. Strike moves it across to Delzato. Back around for Couturier. 23 seconds.
Take him out of the play.
Delzato up top. Across to Giroux. Strike. Pressure. Giroux shoots. Save off the blocker by Bishop. Simmons leaving it. Couturier. Now with Voracek stepping in front. Feeds it. Giroux loads up. In the slot. The shot. A save by Bishop there. As Stride had compacted the play. Stride has it. Trying to center. Can't against Filppula. Time's going to run out. Ben Bishop and the Lightning hold off the Flyers in a furious charge over the last 2 minutes. Pulling Emery, getting 1 goal, but the insurance goal by Garrison turns out to be the winner on the power play with just over 3 minutes remaining in this hockey game. And the Lightning win their first 2 on this homestand, prepare to host the Capitals on Saturday night. A 4-3 win for the Lightning over the Flyers. Quite a night here at Amalie Arena. Lightning Live postgame next.